La vidéo du jour porte sur l'interview de Kristy, une influenceuse sous le nom de The Nomad Nextdoor sur les réseaux sociaux. Donc voici son compte Instagram. Elle a plus de 27 000 abonnés sur les réseaux et donc elle peut être définie comme une micro-influenceuse. Donc c'est une américaine qui est basée à Lucerne. L'interview se déroulera donc en anglais, mais il y aura bien sûr des sous-titres en français. Donc voici un peu le feed de son compte Instagram. Donc on peut voir qu'elle est une influenceuse de catégorie voyage. Elle a aussi un shop. Vous pouvez le voir ici, c'est un bazar. Donc elle vend des articles, des accessoires, des bijoux qui sont fabriqués par une famille de Bali. On peut aussi la retrouver sur YouTube. Donc elle poste assez régulièrement des vidéos sur des conseils comme sur les voyages, sur comment voyager seul, trouver des vols pas trop chers. Donc si vous voulez aller checker son compte, c'est juste ici. Donc voilà, maintenant on peut directement se lancer dans la vidéo et plus précisément dans l'interview avec Kristy. So hi Kristy, thank you very much for being here and doing this interview. So I wanted to talk to you about the influence marketing and actually your job as an influencer. So first of all, I'm letting you present yourself. What's your job, what you're doing, what's your background, and so on.
So I'm Kristy. I am a travel influencer. My name is the Nomad Nextdoor on Instagram and YouTube. And basically, I used to live in San Diego and I was working a job in the wine industry. And then after about 4 years of doing that, I decided that I wanted to start living an alternative lifestyle and start a business and travel around the world. I wanted to do something basically that allowed me to be location independent, so I could live pretty much anywhere in the world and be able to make an income and also be able to travel.
How did you become an influencer? Did you really were looking for it, or not? It just became like that?
So it kind of just started. I started an Instagram before I left to travel, and I was just kind of posting some travel photos, past travel photos with like inspirational content, basically kind of talking about the feelings that I was going through at the time, having to, leave a comfortable job and a comfortable lifestyle in order to break out of my comfort zone and basically go after something that I really wanted. And so I started posting about that, and I kind of just started to gain an audience of people who related to that, and it just kind of took off and grew from there. And so that's kind of how it all started.
How would you describe your relationship with your community, your followers?
I would say for the most part, I'm like pretty active with them on like a daily basis. I think that most people follow because they're A, interested in travel, and B, I think just I really like to try and build like a positive vibe in the community, and kind of I encourage people to live up to their fullest potential. I do that through just kind of sharing some of my past experiences with having to do that myself. And I like to really just try and lift people up on a daily basis and remind them kind of what they're capable of and what they can, the potential that they have.
Regarding the finance, maybe you can tell us a little bit more. Can you really live with this, with the influencer marketing, or not so much?
I think it really depends. It's all based on like kind of what you put in is what you get out of it. So obviously the more time and effort you put into it, the more potential you have. And I think, it's definitely possible to make it a full-time income if you're really going after it and, working with brands and building a blog and doing affiliate marketing and all of that. So it really depends on kind of, it's what you want to make of it.
Could you maybe give us a range price for, I don't know, a creation that you would do for a company, a video or something like that?
A sponsored post.
Yeah.
Usually like the industry standard is $100 per 10,000 followers that you have. So I have about 28,000, so that would be like $280 for one post for them.
Maybe could you just give us a number of time you would put into this work for creating a video or creating a post for the company?
Yeah, it all just kind of depends. I mean, depends on what the company wants and what type of company it is. Obviously, if it's a video, it takes a lot longer than a photo, and it kind of depends. Is it a photo that I have to go out to a specific location and take that photo, or is it something that I can do essentially in my backyard? So it just totally depends on the client.
But for you, it's not a full-time job.
It's not, no. I would consider it part-time.
What is your best collaboration you did through your activity as an influencer?
I really enjoy collaborating with smaller kind of family-owned businesses, and especially hotels, because when I'm staying at a hotel, I really get to know the people behind the business, and you just connect with people on a different level than when it's something where it's just like a deal that you do digitally where they send you a product and you take photos. Like, that's great and all, but I really like the human connection part of doing a collaboration with a hotel, because you get to kind of know the ins and outs and discover what they're struggling with, and then together you can kind of come up with ways to solve their problems and help them to gain more business in the future.
Do you have a lot of requests from the company that want to do a collaboration with you?
I would say, yeah, there's quite a few, but then there's quite a few that I don't end up taking, because it's really important for me that whatever brand I work with, their values align with mine, and it fits into kind of my brand image. Like, for instance, I get a lot of requests from like beauty brands, and for me, beauty is not something like that I really value that much, and so, or like physical beauty, and so that's not really a collaboration that I think I would ever engage in. Whereas, I mean, there's a lot of other brands that maybe aren't related to travel that I do collaborate with. For instance, I've done stuff with like organic, like power bar companies, and like a watch company. I did something with Flaxman watches, which is this watch, and it has a world map on the back, and I just think it's like a super cool product. So yeah, as long as the company fits with my brand image, then I'm usually up for it.
But do you feel like that sometimes companies really don't make a personalized message to you? They don't really are looking for your profile, and they don't really know you?
That's definitely something that is it really puts me off when I get a message where it's super obvious that they've just blown this message out to several people. It's not personalized, and then I look at the brand and I'm like, okay, well, what this brand is about is totally different than what I'm about. So I don't even know why they're reaching out to me.
And how did they reach out to you? Via email or DM?
Mostly email, sometimes in DMs, but...
Because do you put your emails on your biography on Instagram and so on?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What kind of tips would you give to a little or medium-sized company in Switzerland that they want to work with an influencer like you?
I would say, like, the main thing is to really look at the influencer on a deeper level. See, first of all, how they're interacting with their community. Are they commenting back on comments left by their followers? How engaged are they with their audience? Are they posting consistently? Are they adding value? That's super important. So I think you can kind of see a lot about how the collaboration is going to go based on how engaged the influencer is with their community. And then I would also say, don't focus so much on the size of the account, but more also, the engagement, because I know, there's some accounts with 1 million followers, and if you're a brand, you're going to pay a lot of money to collaborate with that person, and you might end up getting not the return that you'd hoped for, just because I think sometimes bigger accounts don't have as loyal of an audience. That's not always true, but I think with micro-influencers, the audience tends to feel a bit more involved because there is more engagement, and so they're a bit more trusting of the influencer. So I think targeting accounts that are, anywhere between maybe 10,000 followers and 100 to 200,000 followers is kind of a good range, because I think you're going to maximize your value by working with accounts of that size.
Okay, thank you. That's very interesting. And the last question, we could do a little game. So I'm going to ask you between two things and you can choose what do you prefer. So first, would you prefer working with an agency or directly with a company?
I would prefer directly with a company, just because I like having that ability to just communicate directly, and then there's no middleman. You can just kind of be more candid and honest, I think, when you have that direct line of communication, as opposed to the middleman. It's kind of just, things can get a little bit convoluted and confusing. So, and I also like to hear kind of the story from the actual brand as opposed to from the agency.
Do you prefer getting a gift from the company or attending an event?
I'm not super into getting the gifts, just because I prefer to not have a lot of like physical material items. So probably an event, but I think that for me, the most value I would get is just out of a cash payment, because, this is my job. I still need to pay bills, and at the end of the day, money is as an influencer, what you need, I think.
The last one, would you rather work with a middle or small size company or with an international company?
Smaller size, for sure, because I think you can have a lot more of an impact on that brand as opposed to an international company. An international company, to me, it just has a bit more of a corporate feel, and that's not really my style. So I love connecting with smaller companies.
Okay, so thank you very much for all your answers. And maybe you could give us your account on social media where we can find you.
Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at the Nomad Nextdoor, and then also on YouTube at the Nomad Nextdoor, and my blog also, thenomadnextdoor.com.
Okay, perfect. So thank you very much. Bye bye, Kristy.
Bye.
Donc nous avons pu découvrir la micro-influenceuse Kristy sous le nom de The Nomad Nextdoor sur les réseaux sociaux. Tout d'abord, merci à elle. Et ce que l'on peut en retirer de cette interview, ce sont principalement le point important des messages personnalisés quand une entreprise veut contacter un influenceur. Il faut tout d'abord savoir quel est son profil, est-ce qu'il correspond à l'objectif de l'entreprise, et non pas envoyer un message qui ne correspond pas du tout au profil de l'influenceur, car il risque de ne pas du tout être intéressé et voire de ne pas répondre. Deuxième point, ce serait plutôt pour les petites entreprises. Il faut qu'elles se lancent sur le marketing d'influence, et notamment pour les entreprises dans le secteur du tourisme, car elle fait partie de la catégorie des influenceurs de voyage, donc cela peut être très utile pour le monde du tourisme. Elle le dit, elle aime travailler avec des petites entreprises, elle est basée en Suisse, donc cela peut être aussi très intéressant de la contacter, de travailler avec elle, sachant que il faut savoir par rapport à ses objectifs si ça correspond, mais elle a une communauté qui est internationale et non pas que suisse, donc pour les acteurs du tourisme, cela peut être très intéressant. Voilà, j'espère que cette vidéo vous aura été utile, et n'hésitez pas à mettre dans les commentaires vos propres expériences avec un influenceur, et aussi à checker mes anciens articles sur comment travailler avec des influenceurs et comment se lancer sur le marketing d'influence avec les différentes étapes. Merci beaucoup pour votre attention.